Welcome to Luxatic. In today's video, we're going to be looking at the 15 best Suzuki motorcycles ever made. Let's be honest, when you hear the name Suzuki, what comes to mind first, a car or a bike? That's right, a motorcycle, because Suzuki motorcycles are some of the best in the world. The Japanese company is one of the biggest motorcycle manufacturers in the world, occupying a top spot among the likes of Honda, Yamaha and Harley Davidson. The brand's history goes back over 100 years, with their motorcycles having made happy millions of people all over the world since 1909, when the company was founded. Though they are well known for their sports bikes, they produce a wide range of motorcycle types including cruisers, touring bikes and dual sport motorcycles. The never-ending competition between the Japanese motorcycle manufacturers has given birth to some excellent machines throughout history, and Suzuki's best motorcycles is what we're going to discuss today. So without further ado, here are the 15 best Suzuki bikes ever made. At number 15 we have the Suzuki RM62. The 50cc Suzuki RM62 may be a museum piece today, but it was once the fastest bike on the Isle of Man TT and other championships, competing even against 125cc bikes and winning. This 8 horsepower bike is a real part of Suzuki's successful history, one of the greatest to ever come out from the brand's factories. It might seem unremarkable at first glance, but when you think that those 50cc 8 horsepower could push the tachymeter to 12,000 RPM and the speedometer to 90 miles per hour, you might consider it for what it was, an incredible two-wheeled machine in its time. The bike won 6 world championships during the 1960s and established Suzuki as one of the world leaders in motorcycle manufacturing. Number 14, Suzuki Boulevard C90. The Suzuki Boulevard C90 is far from being a Harley Davidson, but it doesn't even need to. It's one of the best cruiser motorcycles ever created, and it doesn't shy away from showing it. With a 67 horsepower, 1462cc, V-twin, fuel injection and stylish aesthetic, it won the hearts of many cruiser fanatics across the entire world. Since its launch, it was consistent in both powertrain and looks, making it a true icon of Japanese motorcycle know-how. Number 13, Suzuki GSX-R1100S Katana. Born from Suzuki's desire to create something unique, the GSX-R1100S Katana was a revolutionary motorcycle, one that brought major changes to the entire motorcycle industry and not only for the company itself. The Katana changed how a motorcycle looked like, moving on from the stoic design of the incipient years and into a radical new future, one that would bring Suzuki even more fans. The Suzuki Katana was the change the motorcycle industry craved and didn't know. When it came, it took everybody by surprise, but the futuristic look of the bike wasn't everything though. The new bike also came with some technical advanced features for the time, such as anti-dive on the front shocks, preload adjustment on the rear, and a whopping 110 horsepower. The bike was an instant hit and it quickly built a cult following. Number 12, Suzuki RGV250. The Suzuki RGV250 was that race replica that everybody wanted to have. It was the bad boy, the wild one, the one that in the right hands would go head to head with liter bikes and often leave them behind to eat its dust. The RGV250 was all the proof the world needed that bigger isn't necessarily better. This fantastic bike was produced between 1988 and 1998, but unfortunately it fell prey in the end to the more reliable and easier to maintain and to ride 400cc sports bikes. Today the Suzuki RGV250 is still the dream of bike collectors worldwide for the thrills and the joy it created back in the day. Number 11, Suzuki RG500 Gamma. Another bike that had racing written all over its DNA but made road legal so that everyone could enjoy it was the Suzuki RG500 Gamma. The bike is a very close relative of the original RG500 racing bike, which was a marvel of technological achievement at the time, one that had put Suzuki back on the map. Unlike its cousin though, the Gamma came with upgraded fairing and all the road-going necessities installed like the compulsory headlights and stoplights. In all the other regards, it was a true road rocket like the race-bred RG500, able to reach a top speed of 147 miles per hour. It was light, weighing only 386 pounds, and the twin-crank square-4 two-stroke engine delivered an amazing 95 horsepower that blew its competition away after going over that 5,000 RPM sweet spot. The bike felt underpowered below that threshold, but once above, it all felt like the machine came back to life, propelling the bike and the rider forward like no other bike at the time could. Number 10. Suzuki GSX-R1100. When Honda Fireblade took over the sports bike world in the first half of the 1990s, Suzuki was left wondering if it could do better than its rival. Their first answer to the much-praised Fireblade was the GSX-R1100, a bike already in existence since 1986, but upgraded and released again in 1994 to counter the Honda. The newer variant of the GSX-R1100 came with a slightly larger engine, 1074cc, water cooling instead of the original air-oil cooling, improved exhaust system, and upside-down racing shocks, all of which upped the bike's performance, but also its weight, making it a huge 250 kilograms. The performance gain wasn't enough though to boost Suzuki's sales, so from this point of view the bike wasn't successful. On the other hand though, the GSX-R1100 became one of the most popular sport motorcycles in its class, preferred for its power and bad boy attitude that speed junkies looked for. Number 9. Suzuki DR-Z400S. Probably one of, if not the most competent all-round motorcycle ever created is Suzuki's DR-Z400S. A simple, reliable and comfortable dual sport that did well on almost any kind of terrain. Its dirt bike abilities made it ready to tackle anything you could throw at it, while the 398cc kept things light and simple, while delivering sufficient power for round-the-world trips. Born in the 2000s, the DR-Z400 was cheap, simple to maintain, easy to ride, and came with just the essentials to deliver the bare-bones essence of what motorcycling means for most riders. Later iterations came with a supermoto variant as well in the form of the DR-Z400SM, and it saw huge success as its off-road prowess transferred well to the asphalt circuit. Number 8. Suzuki Bandit 1200. Another simple yet complete cycle, the Suzuki Bandit 1200 featured everything that was essential for a motorcycle to ride well, without the bells and whistles that didn't add much to the overall experience. That's why this was another success story for the Japanese company. Despite the bike's simple design, it was one of the greatest bikes of its period, delivering high performance but also the practicality and comfort that made it a good everyday motorcycle. The Bandit 1200 produced between 1996 and 2006 came with a 1157 DOHC inline-4 engine, a low seat, better fuel capacity than its previous brother, the 600cc variant, electronics and improved fairing and frame design. All these made this bike perform excellent both on straight sections and while cornering, and its braking abilities were good as well. It was among the best all-round motorcycles of that era and have remained highly sought after even today. Number 7. Suzuki V-Strom 650. In production since 2004, the Suzuki V-Strom 650 is one of the most successful middleweight adventure touring machines the world has known. It's the perfect motorcycle for beginner riders and offers plenty of fun to seasoned ones as well. The bike's 645cc V-twin engine is powerful enough for highway cruising, but also punchy and light enough to make the bike descent off-road as well. The V-Strom 650 has proved itself as a versatile machine over the years, more than ideal for long-distance touring adventures, and with plenty of comforts and rider assist to make it relevant in today's world. Though some would say there's no purpose for the likes of V-Strom 650, and similar when there are machines such as the V-Strom 1050 Adventure around, but the market says otherwise. Number 6. Suzuki GSX-R1000 K5. We talked above about the GSX-1100, Suzuki's primary answer to the Honda Fireblade. The GSX-R1000 K1 that came out late in 2001 is a natural evolution of its predecessor, and probably the best of Suzuki's GSX range. The K5 variant of the bike that came out several generations later in 2005 is seen as the best of the bunch, equally fun on the circuit and on the street, rider-friendly, lightweight and very powerful. Despite its 999cc that produced a whopping 185 horsepower and the bike's only 166 kilograms, it featured excellent handling without going on the edge, and the power was manageable, which made the bike good for all experience levels. Number 5. Suzuki TL1000R. Designed to compete with Ducati and Honda in the WSBK, the Suzuki TL1000R came a little bit too late to the party, with the company eventually dropping the project to focus on the more performant GSX-R750. Despite that and a short production run of only 5 years, the TL1000R managed to gain a cult following in the motorcycle world, especially with those who wanted a wild and powerful two-wheeled animal. The aggressive styling helped a lot to convey that message as well. The 996cc engine delivered the bike handled extremely well, but the lack of practicality and its lack of refinement made it more like a niche motorcycle loved by a select few. Number 4, Suzuki SV650. The Suzuki SV650 was an instant hit, a bike loved by everybody for its reliability, maneuverability, manageable power, and its pleasing aesthetic. The bike was instantly recognizable thanks to its trellis steel frame. It was a street fighter, but one that was competent enough for the more seasoned riders and also decently powered to be easy to manage by beginners as well. It came with a full array of useful features such as 6-speed gearbox, liquid cooling, dual front disc brakes with ABS, and aluminium alloy wheels. The SV650 was a joy to ride no matter the rider's style, be it daily commuting, weekend touring, or canyon carving. Number 3, Suzuki RG500. The legendary RG500 that put Suzuki back on the MotoGP map is one of the most successful bikes ever made. It came equipped with a 4-cylinder 2-stroke 500cc that was able to produce 90 horsepower initially, with later variants pushing the output to 150 horsepower. The bike was a literal rocket, and it got Suzuki 2 World Championship wins in 1976 and 1977, and another 2 in 1981 and 1982. It was the bike that inspired the road legal version, the RG500 Gamma, that adrenaline junkies loved to ride. Although the styling didn't show it, the Suzuki RG500 was the perfect racing machine with an ideal engine and lightweight frame. Number 2, the Suzuki GSX-R750. The GSX-R750 is a bike done right, among the longest lasting motorcycles in Suzuki's lineup. It entered production in 1985 and it's still in production today, and that thanks only to the bike's exceptional qualities that make it a favourite of riders all over the world. Its 749cc 4-stroke liquid-cooled inline-4 engine delivers plenty of performance, outputting just shy of 150 horsepower today. There isn't much that has changed on the bike since its introduction, apart from the expected tech innovations like ABS brake, inverted shower shocks, modern engine management system, and rider assist. The bike impressed riders when it first came out and continues to impress them today, more than 3 decades later. It's lightweight, high performance, and affordable, which are all the right ingredients for a successful, street-legal sports bike. And at number 1, there's the Suzuki GSX-R1100 Hayabusa. The Suzuki GSX-R1100 Hayabusa is a pure legend and should need no introduction whatsoever. It came out in 1999 and then everybody went mad over it. The bike was fast, truly fast. It was this bike that started the speed war, with the current record held by the incredible Kawasaki Ninja H2R. The Hayabusa shattered the 300 km/h speed mark and everybody loved it for that. For a while at least, the bike wasn't for the faint of heart, and certainly not for the unexperienced. Later on, rider aids were introduced to make the bike more manageable and stable at high speeds. Besides the high performance it delivered, the bike turned heads wherever it went. Some hated its bodywork, but for some it looked simply gorgeous. Today, despite not holding the speed record anymore, the GSX-R1100 Hayabusa is still one hell of a bike. So there you have it. These are what we think the best Suzuki motorcycles ever made. The list might not do justice to some, but we've tried to cover all time periods and types of bike. Some are liked by everybody, while others are leaders in a particular niche, but nevertheless, they've made generations of riders happy.